Hello everyone, welcome to Math Madness and Fun. Today we'll be learning about square roots and how to encounter problems with square roots. A lot of people struggle with this kind of problems. We're also going to use exponents, and let's get started. Number one, we know that this is square root, and we also know that this is a square root. So if we square both sides, let's do that. So if you square both sides, that, square it. Because it's an equation, you do the same thing on the other side because it's an equal. And so these square roots and the square just go away, cross out. And so you're left with 9x plus the 3, we don't need the parentheses anymore, is equal to this phi square. Let's evaluate that. 5 times phi. So phi times phi is equal to, 5 phi's, 25. Because it's equal to 25, you can just put 25 plus x. Okay, now we have got an easy linear equation, much easier than this very hard looking equation. So that's what a lot of people do. They just square both sides. But if we don't have the square root here, then you would have to expand these. That's a huge process, but let's get back to the problem. So right here we have the 9x plus 3 is equal to 25 plus x. Because we have the 9x plus 3 is equal to 25 plus x, we can just use linear equations. Okay, so let's do this. You take away 3 on both sides. Okay, let's do that. And you take away 3 on the constant, not variable thingy. We don't cross this out because it doesn't get crossed out. Then we take, well actually let's not do that. That gives us negatives. Then we take away x over here, cross that out, and take away x over here. This is because the equation, this equal sign is a balance. Whatever you do to one side of the equation, you do to the other. And so we can easily say that this is just 8x, because 9x minus x, 8x, you just think of this as 1. Okay, so that gives us 8x is equal to, now I've got 8x is equal to 25 minus 3, 22. To find x, we have the 8 in the way. We had to get rid of it. So we divide 8 on both sides. Same over here. And you're left with this, x. So x is equal to 22 over 8. Okay, that was a pretty easy problem. So the solution was really fastly. We had to, when we have a square root on both sides of the equation, then we square both sides, then the square root and the squares get rid of. If there's cubic roots or quadratic roots, like fourth root or fifth root, and both of them are equal, you can just cancel them out actually, because you already know that you can always square both sides. So you're left with 22 over 8. That was a pretty simple problem. Let's try another one. Okay. So 5 to the 3x minus 3 power. This is really scary. Is equal to 5 to the 18 minus x power. This looks really scary. You might start sweating right now, but really it's so easy. what you do is, since they have the same base, cancel. Get cancelled. You don't need this. And so, because of this, you can do 3x. Whoa. Okay. 3x minus 3 is equal to this whole equation. 18 minus x. Hey, this looks really, really easy. We've done this before. They're called linear equations. So, let's get going. So to do this, let's add x on both sides to stay on the positives. Then you add x over here. Add 3 on both sides. Instead of taking away 18, that would be in the negatives, and that would be hard to calculate. And so 4x is equal to, oops, actually, wait a sec. Since it's plus 3, let's get rid of this. Okay, so 4x that's an equal sign, is equal to 18 plus 3, 21. Okay, we've gotten this. We knock it down, and since the 4 is in the way, we divide 4. That gets this whole thing canceled out. And therefore, we get that x is equal to 21 divided by 4. Now, this was an okay problem too, not so hard. So next time you have something on the exponents and they have the same base, this. So if you have like 3 power or something, just try taking these out. Just take these out, and then you're left with this thing and this thing. Then you use your knowledge of linear equations and then solve it. So let's see if this is right. Most of you, I know that you have a really big doubt if this is even right. And I'll show and tell you why. Here, you can really easily evaluate that this is 5 point, so 1 over 4, 25. Because this is 5.25, you multiply by 3. 15.75 minus 3, 12.75. So this whole thing goes to 12.75. After that, you're left with this. So 5.25, 18 minus 5.25, 12.75. Yep, 12.75. And how do you know this is possible? 5 to the 12.75 power is equal to 5 to the 12.75 power. So it really is equal, and so these things don't really matter. They're here to just confuse, oh boy, this is really hard. I guess really easy. So let's go over to the one we did solve last time. How this is, and how this is. So what we did was actually quite simple. Here we squared. That's all. We just squared both sides, and then we were left with an equation. Here, however, we didn't need to square both sides. They're already squared. Here we just needed to take away the base. So going on solving more problems like this, you will see really easy things like patterns and simulations you could use. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe.